4:55 PM on April 1st, 2025. A call to order the Real Estate Facilities and Land Management meeting. Moment of silence, please. Mr. Root?
Yes, sir. Pray with me if you'd like to. Oh, dear God, our Creator, the sustainer of our lives, thank you for this day, beautiful day you've given us, and this opportunity to meet, to do business for the county, for the citizens. Help us to do that in a selfless way that's focused on others and the greater good for people collectively and individually. Pray you give council that wisdom, committee that wisdom, and guide this meeting. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Mr. James, lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the March 19th, 2024 regular minutes?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
That is 3-0.
Well, the first discussion item we have is the Clemson Health Center clinic. That clinic has been a blessing to the Walhalla area, and we'd first like to thank the Clemson Rural Health folks. It was a dream that Mr. McCall had, and I kind of helped with it, and it's come true, the old DHEC first floor. They approached us about using the second floor, I guess a couple months ago, and we've got storage of old records there. Also understand that they've got a little budget crunch at the moment, freeze, but I think we probably should move forward with a plan to evacuate the second floor and go through the records, categorize the records, destroy whatever records the law will allow us to destroy. So, Ms. Brock, could you address that, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. Just to reiterate what you said, we do have an outstanding partnership with Clemson Rural Health. And even previous to them occupying the building, they had their mobile health clinic that they brought around to different places in the county. And we have had a partnership with them even when they were Joseph F. Sullivan Center. So this is a vital partnership for us and the university to provide low-income and/or free healthcare services to citizens in not just Walhalla, but in the county as a whole, because they still do operate their mobile health clinic. The second floor of the DHEC facility building, we've had a couple of council members come look. We've gone and done an inventory. I have made a request for South Carolina Department of Archives to come and give each one of our departments that has records in the facility an overview of the law and what is required to be kept. If it is required to be kept, how long, and to work out, they do a processing for annual disposal of records so that you don't get that sort of stockpile on an ongoing basis. Ideally, we'd like to have those records here at this facility, since this facility is primarily the origin of the records being stored. Because right now, we're handling them 2 or 3 times. We're handling one, putting them in a box and putting them in a truck, then we're driving them over there, taking that box and taking it upstairs, and now we're all going to have to do it all in reverse and handle those things twice again. You are correct that I did speak to Dr. Gimbel. I sent him an email shortly after the strategic plan meeting minutes were approved to let him know the county was very interested in their expansion, just as they are. And he indicated to me that the Clemson does have a process. I read in the Daily Journal that they were under a budget freeze. I didn't speak to him about what that effect was on his division, but assuming it was campus and department-wide. I don't want to take it off the table, because we all know budget freezes typically go with the budget year that they're impacted by. Their budget year runs on the same cycle as ours. So we will work forward in our processes while we revisit that matter with them again in July.
So can you draw up a timetable and present it to us at our next meeting?
I can.
Yes. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that? Okay, thank you, Ms. Brock. PRT Capital Projects Update, Mr. Phil Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council. just want to take a few minutes and share with you where we are in our capital projects. We have been very blessed with the PRT Capital Project Fund and as well as our accommodations taxes to be able to handle a number of deferred maintenance items that have built up over the years, and to be able to expand some things and to really kind of step ahead and do some really good stuff in our parks with our PRT Capital Fund. And it's been probably 16 months since I gave an update here, so it'd be a good time to look at what we've been working on. This is just the last 12 months. These are items that we've got going on currently, and I've got some pictures just to go through and show you where we are, just to give you an update of what's happening, where we are, and what the next steps may be. We currently have 19 active projects that we either recently completed in the last 12 months or they're ongoing. And I'm going to work my way through some pictures just to share, and I'm going to brag on our roads and bridges quite a bit as we get through there, because they've done a lot for us, and this is not turning. Battery might be
Go
dead.
ahead, no, go ahead. Totally me.
Okay, so if you remember, about 3 years ago, we had this shelter, had an erosion issue at the shelter at Chaw Ram and knocked it off its foundation. We demoed the shelter. We had a good bit of erosion issues behind it. We went through a couple of different options that just didn't work out from erosion control. It just came back too expensive. I called Mr. Reed. He came out, and they did a tremendous job of working on this water coming off the hill to help us kind of slow it down, to get it to where we now can control that area, and now we're ready to rebuild that shelter back in its place. So it's been offline for about 2.5 years now, and now that this is done, we'll start looking at getting that back into our queue and try to get that shelter back online and get it rebuilt there. And they were able to not only fix that, but they also fixed a number of things that right around that area while they were there with their equipment. Second thing at Chaw Ram is our maintenance building. We originally brought this to you as a commercial type property a year and a half ago. We scaled that back now, and we're working on this now as just a tubular metal building to give us a storage and a workspace. Again, Roads and Bridges has come in and cleared out this area for us, and once he gets a little bit of free time, I know he don't answer my phone every time I call him because he knows what I'm asking, but once they get a little free time, we'll be able to do the final grade on that, get our concrete pad in place, and then we got a metal building. We scaled that back down to a tubular metal structure, kind of like what we got at the solid waste and over at the farm center, and we'll put that up, and that'll do really good for us to give our staff some storage as well as some workspace. While they were in there, we also upgraded our dumpster area. This was right near our campground originally. It doesn't smell good when it gets full during the holidays, and so we had an opportunity to move it. And so, again, Kyle and his crew did some grading for us, and we were able to get that kind of away from the public, and they got access to their vehicles getting up there and getting it empty to us at the park. Transitioning over to High Falls. If you remember, we redid South Coast Rec Building. We transitioned over to High Falls Recreation Building. And we're doing as much of this in-house as we can, either our staff or facility staff. A lot of the detail work, the construction, the board and batten, all that's done in-house. We bid out the back porch of this project and the roof. Everything else we've been able to do. It just takes a little longer, but the staff, when you do it this way, you get to customize some things that you maybe wouldn't be able to afford otherwise. So it's been really good for us. And then this is the finished product after we got it all done and painted. Matches really well. Still the open air shelter. All those windows open up really good for the public. And then there's the lake view with the new back porch on it, looking out across the water. It's a very popular building for rentals, weddings, birthday parties, things like that. Once we finished that construction, we moved over to the Alexander Cannon Hill House. Again, we scaled this back from our original proposal, and we're doing a lot of this in-house. We have rebuilt the front porch. We've rebuilding the back porch now, and the only thing that we're bidding out on this property is what we call the envelope, which is the windows, the roof, the sheeting on the side, and the siding. And that actually opened today. And we'll be working on that to get that back to you for consideration in preserving that 1830s property. You'll notice up top, we had 2 chimneys on there. One of the questions we had was, one of those chimneys wasn't supported well, and we were able, through Archive and History, to approve to take that off. So we removed that chimney, they approved it, and it did not affect the historic registration of the property. You guys, council just approved our shoreline restoration project just several months ago. A combination of some barge work on some of the points, and again, roads and bridges on some of the places they could access to. They were able to do some shoreline restoration. I feel much better about maintaining this as we move forward. We were losing feet per year on some of these areas. And then part of the grant we got from Duke was to create living shoreline, putting plants back. So we've put in about 350, almost 400 plants along several areas with the shoreline that'll, again, create a living habitat for wildlife and plants as we grow that shoreline back. You also just, as a council, approved our dock process. This dock is no longer there. They are in construction, and then in the very background of that picture, you can see the fishing pier to your left. That will also be coming down, and we'll have a floating fishing pier. Both of those are original to the lake, so they're 50 years old, and we got a good life out of them, but we're getting a new product in there that'll be steel and concrete, aluminum and concrete, that'll last us a long time. This is our next big project. You as a council have approved to move all of the electrical underground. We just finished our design review this week, and it is in procurement now, waiting to go out to bid. This is a new parking lot at South Cove. The dark gray on the court on the right-hand side is new asphalt. Everything else is existing, and then that's 2 new tennis courts on the left. We're full in that area 3 different times a day. I've got 3 different groups. Somebody plays first thing in the morning, somebody plays right around lunch, and somebody plays in the evening. We are getting a little bit of help. The city of Clemson is building some pickleball courts, and then the city of Seneca is also looking at building some courts, so it'll help us a little bit relieve some of that pressure. And then the parking lot there, even though you're showing the lines and the what's the word I'm looking for? The lines and the curb and stuff, none of that it's all painted so that we can use it for boat overflow parking as well, boats and trailers. So it'll double. We were able to finish the superintendent residence South Cove. This was another project that was done mainly in-house. We bid out, again, the roof, and facilities helped us with some electrical, some plumbing, and that was probably about a 9-month process total. Again, that house was original to the park back when the lake was backed up, so it's about a 50-year-old property that'll now be there in really good shape for many years to come. Lake Hartwell, Seneca Creek was complete, but we were able to add security cameras to that property. That piece of property is leased 2 different parcels. I've got a small piece with the Corps of Engineers, and I got a small piece with Clemson University. And anything that Clemson University has its hands on, they want in their security system. So we were able to buy the equipment and they installed the security cameras, and now it's on their security system. So the Clemson Police Department monitors that for us on a regular basis, and we'll take over the maintenance of it now that it's installed. So it was a really good win for us to be able to have that in place. South Union, probably 18 months ago, Roads and Bridges helped us do some shoreline erosion help there. We were losing a lot of asphalt at that location. They came in, built it back up. They did a lot of asphalt and grading, so we can get a few more boats into that location. It's a very popular crappie fishing spot, and so we also were able to add a courtesy dock there that's been very well received. These gateway signs just went in this past week. There was a total of 14 of them that went in all over the county. And I do have, I think, 4 or 5 of those old ones that you said you wanted, so we'll be able to use them in different places.
Old welcome to Oconee County signs in here.
But we've got those ready for you. The only place now that's missing signage is I-85, and that's something that we've talked about down the road. What do we want that to look like? And we'll be kind of sharing some conversations with that moving forward and bringing some ideas back. And then, as we finish and talk about the future, we've made a lot of headway, but we've got a long way to go. A lot of our structures are still the original from when the lakes were backed up. Once we took over the Hartwell sites, that brought on some more capital concerns. We'll have some playground upgrades, we'll have some restroom upgrades at those locations. But we've done really, really well. Very appreciative to the PRD Capital Fund, what you've allowed us to do, and I hope we can continue to make some progress on that. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions?
How many visitors do we see a year in all the parks? You have an idea?
300,000 plus.
300,000.
Yeah, and that number is pulled off of the number of receipts we process. The structures take a beating through the peak of the year, and then we fix them back and get them ready for the next year.
Think about it, it's an economic engine, because if they go out, they spend money in Cody County, support a lot of local businesses, so I mean, it's super.
Well, and, you know, I look at it too, that we're able to use visitor dollars in addition to our cap fund to make these things better for us, for us, John Q. taxpayer, the citizens. And we've really made a lot of improvements to our park system that our locals enjoy on a regular basis.
Any other questions?
Well, we're just blessed. We're blessed to have the resources that we do
Absolutely.
this close.
Thank you.
Okay, last thing, discussion regarding the Seneca Library project. Mr. Hart is a citizen, has some ideas about the project, so Mr. Hart, would you come up?
Yes, sir. For the record, I'm Glenn Hart. After hearing what the plans were and the cost of it, I decided to go out and look and see if there could be a better way. And I saw something, I won't say is the best way, but it is a way that's gonna save the taxpayers money. It's using the sidewalk that's there for, the pedestrians to go in to park, the handicap cars there at it and roll up on that sidewalk and go in, you're at the same elevation as the door basically, where if you built another one, you had to come up a ramp to get up there where this is now. You've defeated that part because you're already up with that level. And I got Mr. Kyle Reed with the road department to come out there and see if he said if the county road department could possibly build that. And I guess you might want to talk with him on that now, but there was one tree in the way, but the tree itself has dead limbs on it and it looks like it's fixing to die, so it'd probably be glad to get pushed out of the way. So Mr. Reed, you want to come up and answer any questions about how this can be built?
For the record, Kyle Reed, Oconee County Roads and Bridges. Yes, sir, and went out and spoke with Mr. Hart. And we had looked at an entrance off the side street, coming in, and it's something that we had discussed many years ago. Best I could remember, there was a tree, and best I remember, there was some utility concerns that they had at the time, and it would be over an area that is used for drainage that carries water from the library to South Second Street. But as far as could it be done, short of, needing to run it through its paces as far as DOT, City of Seneca, getting utilities located, all that other stuff, it could be built, it could be constructed. It wouldn't be that much in terms of time from the department, or I don't have an estimate. That would be something that we would provide once we kind of run through what all it actually is, what we'd be getting into. But it wouldn't be, a great cost by any stretch to put in two handicap spaces, a place where they could back into to come turn back around, go back out the same aisle they came in, and handicap access aisle, like a wheelchair aisle, with those two spaces.
Ms. Brock, do you want to mention anything?
The only thing, and I spoke with Mr. Hardy and Mr. Reed, a couple of times about this, and as well as Blair, the library director who's here, is that one thing we do want to add into this, if we do the research on this, and I believe you and I talked about it last time, is the width of the sidewalk. Just to make sure that sidewalk width is adequate, because I believe once we build a parking lot area separate from the one that exists now, we may have to upgrade that sidewalk, which would still be cheaper than the previous plan, I believe.
Is there any, regulations as to how many, handicap parking spots has got to be put there? I went out there Sunday with Mr. Hart and looked at it, and it's, to me, and I'm not an engineer, but to me, it looks very doable. And it would serve the purpose very well. But do we know of any regulation that states that
There are regulations for handicap, required handicap parking spaces based on the square footage of the building. And we'll make sure to get in compliance with that before we start any estimate for construction.
And that would, City of Seneca as well, if they have any additional requirements.
that was gonna be my next question. Is there any, contracts or anything that we've got to work with the City of Seneca on this?
Not that I'm aware of offhand, no, sir. Now, the only stipulation there is that it is in a historic district, in a registered historic district within the city of Seneca. We can figure out whatever regulations there are there and work through those with the city.
So, Ms. Brock, can you, I mean, I don't see it needs to come back here, but at some point when you're ready, can you come to council with a proposal?
I'm happy to come back with a proposal. I'd rather come back with pictures of being completed. I don't mind the proposal at all. I mean, obviously, we would track all the cost. On the front side though, before the proposal comes back, are y'all okay if we go ahead and start with some due diligence? Like
Yes.
researching what the encroachment permit's gonna look like, go ahead and get a 811 call in and locate, working with Blair on what he may think the aesthetics of it needs to be on that side of the building, get the tree removed. I mean, those things we can do even before we have our next council meeting.
Okay.
Okay, that works perfectly.
Any other questions? Any other items that somebody wants to bring up for the committee? Any other items we